Hi, Pleasance from Little Ohm, and I decided this afternoon that I was going to sit down and just have a conversation with you around a topic that has been coming up all month I've been teaching a lot of retreats and groups this month. And over the past few months in my own study and my own life, actually past few years really, I've been putting together the pieces of some of the things that we're learning around the brain science, the neuroscience, positive psychology, Eastern philosophy. This is the wisdom that I'm always talking about with wisdom and wellness and Little Ohm. And mindset and talking about growth mindset versus fixed mindset. And so this is the mindset work is based by Carol Dweck, a book called Mindset with all the research. And basically what it is understanding how we work in different situations, whether we have a growth mindset and we expand and we look for problem solvings and solutions when we hit a barrier or a roadblock, or if we have a fixed mindset where it is this way, or we have this type of skill, and when we are not able to be successful or produce, we sort of hit a dead end and we close off and we shut down. She talks a lot about skill, and very, very intelligent people actually have fixed mindset because they have so much natural skill. Things are very easy for them, so that actually when they come to a problem or they come to an area where they're not as strong, they shut down. They're not used to finding what I call new pathways. Okay, well, lots of people call this, but I'm just putting this together in terms of a bunch of different things that I've studied in a way to make it really helpful for you. Okay, so we want to create those new pathways. We do this in yoga in our body, right? So we're in a pose. We breathe, we open, we can feel, oh, if I do that, I lose energy. Maybe how I turn my hands, I gain. I can feel the alignment. I can feel myself create some new movements, and I can think about it in terms of how is this deeply affecting the subtle body, the layers, and the brain. So we're doing that. I'm just showing you with my arms because you can see that. But if I were on the mat, I would be doing that on all fours. I would be doing that with opening opposite arm, opposite leg, and trying to cross body, right? And get all of our systems to really be at high level, optimal level operation. So we're thinking about mindset, right? In terms of the fact that we are usually in one of those two places, growth or fixed. Fixed is it's this way. It didn't turn out this way. I don't know what to do about it. And the growth people tend to be like, well, let's try this, or let's try this, or let's try this. They create multiple pathways or more options. I live in a home where very naturally we have two growth mindset people in our home and two fixed mindset people in our home. And so we're having a lot of conversations around this, around the dinner table. We're talking to our 9 and 5-year-olds about this, and just trying to create opportunities and situations, because it's not black and white, meaning you're not always one. Like I noticed that there's just some things that it might be very natural for you, and so you don't actually have to work that hard. And then when you go into something and you might give up or throw in the towel or get really angry, and it might be really hard for you to practice opening and creating new pathways. Now, how is this relevant to the work that I do now? And that I'm teaching families and teaching women around themselves and their partners and their kiddos, is that we also do this with things like morning routine. So I'm going to pick on the morning routine because it's actually the one I hear the most people want and they struggle for and they're really challenged with, and yet they're not quite sure how to get it. And so we use this understanding of new pathways and creating new ways of seeing how we're getting in our own way and how we're hitting dead ends when we say something like, well, I want to have a morning routine, but I don't have the right tools for it, or I can't get up early, or my kids wake me up, or my dog starts barking, or I'm too tired. Okay, so there's a whole list of excuses and challenges and issues that come up to prevent the morning routine from happening. Now, your morning routine could be 5 minutes of intentional breathing and meditation in your bed, where you just sit there and breathe and relax. Thank you, dear Eric Schiffman, for teaching me bed med. But it could also be, it could grow to maybe 2 hours. And that might seem a little crazy to you, but I promise that if you do a little, you might really find that you enjoy that time, and you can find other soul practices that might expand into that time. I don't want to overwhelm you though, which I'm good at doing. So I'm going to just suggest a little bit. So if you would like to have a morning routine, please do not start by saying you're going to do 2 hours every day this week, because you're not. You're not going to be successful and it's going to fail. So you're going to want to start with a little bit. So let's say I want to start a morning routine. I'm going to start with 2 days this week, and I'm going to wake up 20 minutes earlier 2 days a week in order to have a little bit of time. Now I'm going to even be more specific and say, in that morning time, I'm going to wake up, take 5 deep breaths, drink a big glass or cup of warm water or room temperature water, which is great for digestion. And I'll go downstairs and make my tea or make my coffee and journal. And that's what I'm going to do for that 20 minutes. Wake up, 5 deep breaths, drink my water, go downstairs or to the other room, have my tea and my coffee, and there's my 20 minutes. And then your day can move on however it does. Maybe your kids get up, maybe you start working, maybe you go exercise, whatever it is. So that's a way that we approach it. Now, when we hit why growth and fixed mindset play into this is because, say on day, so that goes well for a week, it goes well for a second week, and then third week, something happens to disrupt the routine and the ritual that you've set. A fixed mindset person will throw in the towel and say to themselves, I never do, see, I told you you couldn't start a morning routine. You never stick to anything. Why don't you want to do this? Why can't you do this? We missed the morning, forget it. And they shut down. A growth mindset person would say, oh, I missed my morning routine this morning. When can I do it? Maybe later today. Can I take 5 deep breaths, drink a glass of warm or room temperature water and journal for 5 minutes? Oh, yes, that's possible. Or even though I don't normally wake up on Wednesdays to do morning routine, maybe tomorrow that's when I can do it. So notice the fixed person is shutting down, criticizing, they're using that inner critic, they're not being helpful and supportive, and the growth person is the inner mentor. It's a person that those thoughts are supporting your practice. They're helping you see new pathways later today, maybe tomorrow, creating these new pathways of support, which leads to success. So, these are the ways that's a way that you can see how the morning routine gets developed over time. So the next part of it that I teach a lot with these little chunks of understanding growth and fixed mindset, understanding roadblocks, dead ends, and new pathways, and understanding inner critic when you're building new habits and wellness routines and rituals and care, self-care, versus the inner mentor, the person who is supporting you along the way. A lot of my students say they hear me as their inner mentor when they're going through, like they hear my voice saying, like, it's okay, gentle inquiry, be compassionate, kind, and loving. So know that you have that support always available to you from that inner mentor. And you're welcome to use my voice and my words for a little to help you until you build your own relationship and your own voice. The last part of this is when we really want something. We have a goal or we have a desire to be healthier with our food choices. So let's choose that as the next one because that's a big one for many people, right? So The desire for healthier food choices, that's what we have. I want to make better choices in what I'm eating. We do something called whoop, where we whoop it out. So we decide what the wish is. So the wish is to be healthy. The wish is to make better food choices. The outcome, W-O, so the first O, the outcome is to be healthier. Okay, so the wish is the food choices. The outcome is to be healthier. The obstacle, what are the obstacles in your way of this wish? What is preventing you from having, from making those healthy food choices? Well, it might be time. It might be money. It might be not knowing what to eat. It might be distractions. It might be emotional stress. It might be physical stress or pain, right? There might be an emotional connection. So we identify the wish, the outcome, the obstacle, and we move to the plan. So now I am going to plan 3 meals a week that I'm going to bring with me to work or have in my kitchen so that I can make better healthy choices, because I really want more energy and I want to be healthy and feel vibrant and alive. So I'm going to plan it out. So I'm going to, on the practical side, I'm going to map out those 3 days that I'm going to have lunch at home or bring my lunch to work. If it's an emotional side, then get a therapist, get a coach, get a friend, grab a loved one, right? Like, let's deal with the emotional stuff so that it stops blocking you from your wish and your outcome. And so using WHOOP, wish, outcome, obstacle, plan, will help you create growth mindset. It will help you create new pathways in your family life, in your work, in your health, in your finances. So if you have thousands of dollars of credit card debt and you want to be debt-free, and it's time to wake up to that, your wish is to be debt-free. The outcome is not having that stress, is feeling abundant. The obstacle is might be painful. It might be hard to pay off that debt. But the plan is get the help I need, start paying attention daily, mapping out what's coming in and what's going out, and creating a pathway to pull apart and unravel that tension or that tightness or that suffering. Okay, this I really, really, really hope it helps. Mindset, inner critic, inner mentor, WHOOP, and thinking about how they all come together as a way to create the new pathways so that you can be really engaged in your life, in your choices, and in your intentions every day. Let me know how it works. Apply it to your life. Watch this again, take notes, and email me and let me know how it's going. Pleasance at Little Ohm. Namaste.